Hey, it's me again. This time, my new best friend is here. Don't tell him I said that, but Noah Vonleh is here. So, let me get right to it. Welcome to the 60 Days of Summer. You already know this because you're here and excited like I am. The 60 Days of Summer are 60 consecutive days of family-friendly entertainment, included with your price of admission right here at the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Some days, those are, you're too easy with the applause, I love that. You keep that going, you're gonna make a lot of people happy. Some days, those are shows, real fun shows, basketball-related entertainment. Some days, those are clinics by the UMass basketball team. Other days, you get to meet Hall of Famers. The class of 2019 has been trotted out with me the past couple of weeks. Other days, you get to meet some of the stars of the game today. And that's what I have for you today. So for the next 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I get to hog all the fun. I'm gonna go one-on-one with Noah Vonleh. Not really, not that kind. He would eat me for lunch. I get to talk with Noah Vonleh. After that, it's your turn. We're gonna ask for a couple of volunteers from the crowd to ask questions of, yeah, I see already some hands are eager to ask questions, so be working on that. I'm gonna leave some questions out there. I'm gonna forget some stuff. It's your job to ask. After that, Noah is gonna head over to the table on my right, your left, and he's gonna be signing an autograph for each and every one of you. So let's get right to it. Noah Vonleh is one of the newest Minnesota Timberwolves. He's just signed his contract a couple weeks ago. He's a Massachusetts native from Haverhill, where he played at Haverhill High and New Hampton School. He was a number 9 overall pick by the Charlotte Hornets in 2014 out of Indiana. He was a Big Ten Freshman of the Year, a McDonald's All-American, and he's also played for the Trailblazers, the Bulls, and the New York Knickerbockers. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome my new friend, Noah Vonleh. Here you go, my friend. Here you go. Here, take a seat. Hey, Noah, welcome back to Springfield.
Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited to talk. You and I were talking a little bit on the elevator ride up about how not only is this not your first time in Springfield, but this isn't even your second time. You've been here a couple times, haven't you? What's it like being back to Springfield today?
It feels great being back here. I drove down from New York. Growing up, I used to play basketball tournaments in Springfield, played here at the Hoop Hall Classic against one of my future teammates now that I'm going to Minnesota, Andrew Wiggins. So, I mean, it just brings back a lot of those high school memories.
I really want to talk about that new teammate of yours and you working together again, because just 2 weeks ago, you, like so many guys, got to choose your location. I mean, this is an exciting time of year for dudes who play in the association, and you got to choose to go to Minnesota. So this is maybe your first contract that you signed as a veteran. So what was it about Minnesota where people are really excited about you playing some 4, playing some 5 maybe? What was it about Minnesota? It's a great city, Minneapolis. What was it about Minnesota that led Noah Vonleh to say, yeah, I'm not shopping anymore? It's right there.
This is my second time hitting the free agency market. I signed with the Knicks last summer when I came off my rookie deal. Dived into free agency again. Had a pretty good showing in New York last season. Showcased more of my skill. And when free agency hit, I mean, New York was definitely an option because I played there before. Minnesota, the main reason they stood out to me, they had a real young core there. They got Karl Towns, he's about 22 years old. Wiggins, we're about the same age. He's 23 years old. So, I mean, they got a good young core there, and I felt like I'd be able to fit in and kind of grow with those guys for years to come, depending on how management views me and things of that nature.
I'm wondering how because you've been in the league since 2014, your second time in free agency. How do you go, is a free agency year off-season exciting as a young player? Or is it like, man, I gotta work out harder. I gotta, like, is there a little bit extra stress going into a free agency season? Or?
I mean, it kind of was the first year going into free agency last summer because I had a pretty good showing, but I've been traded around and
Yeah.
been on different teams, so it's kind of tough for me this time around last year. So, yeah, like I said, it was tough last year because when free agency hit, all the big names were going down early, and I had to wait around. I waited all the way till August, and then finally something came my way. I ended up signing with the Knicks. It was a great opportunity. Like I said, I was able to showcase my ability and skill, and I was just blessed to be in that situation. Hit the market again this offseason. Signed with Minnesota. It wasn't as stressful because this was my second time going through it, so
Yeah.
I knew what to kind of expect going into it. Knew how the market was, how I was going to be viewed, so it just kind of made things more at ease.
I loved watching you play this year. It was so much fun to watch a guy who I've followed since New Hampton get career highs in starts and minutes and points and assists. You really found your stride in New York. And I know that we all like to think because of the match with Coach Fizz, who is, one of the real studs in coaching in the association now. Can you talk about how your match with Coach maybe allowed you to hit your stride, or was it something new that you were doing in preparation?
I feel like me as a player, I look at myself as a hard worker. I just don't want to look back with having any regrets. So I try to go hard, go 110% at all times, and just put my best foot forward. So, I was in a tough situation. A lot of teams didn't feel like I showcased enough in my career to give me a long-term deal. So I went to New York. I went to work out for them before they ended up signing me. After the workout, sat down with Coach Fizz for a little bit, talked for about 30 minutes or so, and he was just telling me different things just talking about life. He asked me where I grew up, how my family was, just different things, and then telling me, he understands I'm in a tough situation. It took a while for me to get a deal in free agency. He was in a tough spot too. He came from being fired in Memphis, and then people not thinking he was good enough to be a head coach in the NBA, and then the Knicks gave him an opportunity. I had an opportunity, so we kind of relate in that type of light. So it was just good going into the same situation. We're both in a fresh start, and he just let me go out there, be myself, and I was able to showcase a lot and kind of turn people's narratives of me in the league. So it was good.
He's such a good dude, isn't he?
He's a great dude.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
Now, before New York, it was Portland. And in Portland, for 3 years, the better part of 3 years, you play with another mass guy, Pat Connaughton.
Yeah.
You got Dame, you got CJ, and you get a taste not only of playoff life, but you get to knock off the Lakers in one of those years. From a guy who grew up in Boston to be able to knock off the Lakers in the playoffs. Now, I know you're a professional, and I know that but does that still, did Boston Noah feel that hard after that series?
We actually played the Clippers in that series. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, it was an up and down series. We went down 2-0. They won the first 2 games in LA. We never thought we were out of the series, but it just made it that much tougher. And then Game 3, I remember they were up going into the third quarter, and then Blake Griffin went down. He got hurt. Chris Paul, he ended up breaking his wrist, I think, and then the whole series just switched from there. We won 4 games straight, and it was great. Just everybody thought we were down. They counted us out. The expectations for us that year, they didn't even have us projected to be in the playoffs. So it was just great being a part of that group, exceeding expectations, making the playoffs, and getting to the second round and playing the Warriors in the second round. So
you've had a great a chance to play in some fantastic basketball cities, whether it's Chicago or Portland, New York. Some of the best. Minneapolis now, with the history of the Lakers there. Talk to me, if you will, about when a franchise that gave you 3 years is now. The Blazers are a great franchise. They were when you were there. They're great now. Do you still take some? Do you just keep in touch with those guys? Do you still like to check back in with them and let them know that you appreciate their grind?
Yeah, it was a great 2.5, 3 years there. Had some great relationship with guys there. We had 4 mass guys on the team, so that was great. Just having guys I played against growing up, played with and against. We had Shabazz Napier, Jake Layman, Pat Connaughton. I still keep in touch with those guys. Talk to Dame. It was just his birthday the other day. Wished him happy birthday. Just talk to these guys every now and then, even though we're all pretty busy doing different things. We got family we got to cater to and different things like that. So, I mean, I still keep in touch every now and then.
I like knowing the Mass guys stick together. It's a tiny little state. You guys are representing for all of us,
Yeah,
right?
now we're back in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's right.
We got me, Shabazz, Jake Lehman. So
it's crazy.
Mass guys connected.
You guys got to all stick together forever. Yeah. Before Portland, of course, your career starts with the Charlotte Hornets, where, trivia question, I know you know this, but Noah was the first ever draft pick by the Charlotte Hornets Part 2, right? I mean, the Charlotte Bobcats turned into the Hornets, and you are number 9 overall that night on their first draft, again, as the second chance Charlotte Hornets. Can you take us through your draft night experience, what that was like, what it was like knowing that the lottery was where you were going? Did you have an idea that it was Charlotte? When did you know? What was that like for you?
It was a great experience. I mean, as a young kid, watching all the drafts, growing up, just seeing different players get drafted from different schools, and then sometimes it's just a dream. You don't even know if you can be in that type of environment or in that light. But when it starts to unfold, it's just so surreal. So, I mean, it was a blessing. I'm thankful for it, and I think about it all the time. I'm like, I'm really in the NBA. I made my dream come true. Not many people can say that. So. It was great. I was in the green room. I had my parents there. My whole family was there, cousins, friends that I grew up with, and my AAU coaches from high school. So it was just great to have everybody there celebrating that special moment.
I can tell it still means a lot to you too. As you're talking about it, I can see, I mean, it might be 5 years ago now, but you can take yourself back there, can't you? If you think hard enough. It isn't that hard to remember those feelings.
Yeah, I always keep that in mind.
Yeah. In your rookie season, I think about how 19-year-old Noah Vonleh really saw both ends of the spectrum, right? There was a G League assignment. There were double-doubles in the NBA. You saw how hard the work was going to be. You saw the success. You had the assignment to the G League. How does a 19-year-old you keep your head screwed on straight through all of those? Because you're still the same guy that I talked to at the Hoop Hall Classic 9 years ago. You're the same guy. How does a 19-year-old make sure that doesn't sort of take hold and change you fundamentally?
I think it plays a big part in your upbringing. Plays a part in your foundation, your parents, the people around you. Once you have a solid foundation and they instill certain things in you at a young age, you stick to that. You won't go astray from that. So that's kind of what I pride myself on with that. Just having that good upbringing, have my parents keeping me on the right path and just showing me right from wrong, and yeah, that's the main thing.
Now here's the part I was telling you about. I only have 3 questions left for the Minnesota Timberwolves power forward, Noah Vonleh. That sounds nice, doesn't it? Minnesota Timberwolves. I like the way that sounds.
Yeah, it does have a little ring.
It's got a nice ring to it. So, after this question, I'm going to ask for volunteers. At that point, put your hands in the air. One of my friends from the Hoop Hall staff will gather a handful of volunteers, put you in a line to my right, your left, and your turn is coming. So get ready. For college, you chose Coach Tom Crean in Indiana. And of course, you spend enough time in the Hall of Fame, and you'll see an awful lot of people who played at Indiana here. And so it's not about why Indiana, but I'd love to find out, what did Coach Crean say to you? You could have gone anywhere. What did Coach Crean say to you that made it so clear to you that it was going to be, that you were headed to Indiana to be a Hoosier?
I went on my visit to Indiana, and I just fell in love with the campus, just fell in love with the environment, and just fell in love with how they worship basketball in Indiana. They love it. They love basketball out there. I mean, if you're a Hoosier, they show you love. They take care of you. They make sure you enjoy your time there in Indiana. So I really love that. And myself, I love basketball, so I wanted to be in that type of environment. And I just love the skill development and teaching that Coach Crean had going on over there. So that was one of the things that kind of stood out.
What is Coach Crean like to play for? We talk about Coach Fizz has one certain style. Seems like Coach Crean isn't that far off from the style that Coach Fizz has. What was
They both kind of got similar styles. They both kind of like motivating their guys and making sure they get better from a skill standpoint. That was a big thing Coach Crean had. He always had like cones out in practice and was doing different things, just trying to expand your game and keep you real versatile. So that was some of the things I liked.
Do you have a question for Noah Vonleh? Put your hands up right now, and one of my friends from the Hoop Hall staff will come around and pick a handful of volunteers for that pleasure and privilege. Like I mentioned, you're a Haverhill guy, Boston area. You spend some time playing at Haverhill High, then go to New Hampton. Now, there's a couple of places that, you know, like I think about the basketball cities like Chicago and Philadelphia and New York and Los Angeles and Detroit. Guys who grew up there love to brag about how I grew up playing Philly ball, and that's why I play like this. I grew up there playing Detroit ball. That's why I play like this. What is it about Boston area guys, when you see guys like Shabazz, when you see guys like you, what is it about your upbringing? How can you tell a Boston baller?
I mean, there's different parts of Mass. Like Shabazz, he's from Roxbury. I'm real close with Shabazz. He grew up in Roxbury. I grew up in Haverhill. Like Roxbury, he's in the city. It's the inner city. It's you could say it's tough upbringing over there. So I mean, just play with a lot of heart. Don't back down. I say play with a lot of heart. And I feel like I say I kind of get some of those things too, even though I didn't really grow up in the city like that. But I feel like some of those things still fall into a lot of the Mass players too.
For sure. When did you start noticing that basketball for you was different than basketball for a lot of your friends? Because, you know, 85% of your friends don't go on to play in college, and then another 95% of them aren't playing anymore because you're playing at the highest level. When do you notice that for you, basketball is more than just a hobby? Basketball is going to be your career?
I would probably say between 8th grade and sophomore year of high school, I just started to notice my game take off at a different level, and I just love being in the gym and just putting work in, and other guys weren't really trying to do that. So I kind of just separated myself a little bit and just kept sticking to the path that I eventually wanted to get to, being in the NBA, and just continue on that journey, and the journey's still continuing. So.
Noah, my last question to you before we get to the hard ones. These are the hard questions over here. I want you to know that. These are the real hard ones. You can tell that first guy, he's got a hard question over there.
I'm ready.
This moment, you do appearances all the time. You're constantly speaking. You're going on radio shows. You're on TV. People watch you at work. But this moment here at the Hall of Fame, speaking with your fans, face to face with them, underneath the faces of all of the Hall of Famers who've come before. What is this moment like right now?
This is a great moment. Just being able to come and see all these faces in here, and just being able to kind of, in a way, give back. And being a Mass guy, I'm pretty sure a lot of the people here are from Mass. So just being able to come here, have some dialogue with them, and just be able to talk basketball and see how they grew up, and they can ask me questions about how I grew up, and just we could kind of connect because we're from Massachusetts. So it's just great to be able to come here.
Noah, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Noah Vonleh. So now you get your turn. So what I'm going to do is here, come on up. I'll take the first guy here, first person. I only have 2 requests for you, is that one, you introduce yourself to Noah, tell him your name and where you're from, and then you let me hold the microphone while you're talking, okay? All right, go right ahead. What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Evan, and I'm from Pennsylvania.
Excellent. Evan from Pennsylvania. What's your question?
What's up, Evan?
What was your favorite team to play for?
My favorite team to play for, I'd probably say the New York Knicks. I mean, it was just great playing in Madison Square Garden for 41 games, and just playing in a situation where I could just kind of showcase my game to the league and just have a lot of fun. And like I said, New York's the mecca of basketball, playing in MSG. That was a great environment, so I loved it.
Thanks, Evan. Excellent question. All right, I'll take the next one. By this time next year, I think that answer might change a little bit, right? Might be Minnesota Timberwolves.
Hi, my name is Paul. I'm from New Jersey, and just want to thank you for taking the time to come out and sacrifice, all your hard work that you're getting ready to do in the upcoming season. Wish you the best of luck.
Appreciate that.
Twofold question. First one is, can you walk us through your game day prep and one thing that you're challenging yourself to do in the off season?
My game day prep, my game day routine, I get to the arena. The games normally are 7:30. So I get to the arena sometimes around 3, 4 o'clock. I'll change into my on-court gear, go into the weight room, lift for about probably 20, 25 minutes, just do some like maintenance work, band work, get my body moving. Then I'll go into the training room. We all have table time, so get some treatment, whatever's sore, probably get like 15 to 20 minutes of work on the table. And then I'll get some food to eat, maybe eat some like pasta or peanut butter jelly sandwiches or something, just to have something in my system, not have something too heavy in my system before the game, because I don't like to play too heavy. And then around this past year, around 6 o'clock, that was my shooting time. So I get on the court, shoot for about 15 to 20 minutes, do some ball handling, post work, and then just shoot around and get ready for the game.
Great. Thank you.
And then the second question, what I'm working on this off season, just continuing to work on being a better shooter, being more consistent. That's one of the things, but there's a few other things I'm working on also. Yeah.
Thanks, Adam. Crunchy or smooth? It's peanut butter. Crunchy, smooth?
Smooth.
Smooth, salted, non-salted?
Salted.
All right, yeah, we can hang out. It's cool. Yeah. Here, come on over. Jelly preference?
Grape jelly.
Grape. I would have said grape. We're totally best friends, Noah. This is great.
I'm Jonathan. I'm from New Hampshire. And who's your favorite basketball player growing up as a kid?
My favorite basketball player growing up, I had a few guys that I liked, but the guys that really stand out for me a lot, I liked watching Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady. Those were probably the two guys I would say that come to mind first.
Thank you, bud.
Thank you.
All right, come on, keep it going. So, one of your favorite players coming up right now?
I'm Chris, 15 from Staten Island, New York. First question is, who's your favorite player to play with on the Knicks? Second question, do you know about Kevin Durant and Kyrie? And third, what's your favorite cereal?
Can we go backwards? I want to know the cereal first.
The cereal, Apple Jacks, Captain Crunch.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You're trying to win me over. This is not okay.
What was the next question?
Do you know about Kevin Durant and Kyrie?
No, I had no idea. Yeah, I was surprised just like everybody else.
And then who was the guy you were closest to on the Knicks?
The guy I was closest to, Emmanuel Mudiay. Cool. Played with him at camps in high school. Just knew him for a little while. So when he came to New York and I came, we just kind of picked off kind of where we left off and just built an even stronger bond.
Great. Awesome. Thank you, bud. Boy, Mudiay. He left too, right? He's not in New York. He's
going to Utah.
That's right. Yeah. He is fun to watch. Yeah, he is a lot of fun. All right, come on up, bud. His journey is one for the, his journey has been fantastic. I really hope he continues to grow like you have. He has been fun to watch in the league.
Yeah, we're going to both keep growing.
Yeah. You guys should play again together. You're welcome.
Yeah, that might happen. We'll see.
I'm Michael from Staten Island, New York. And my question is, what team do you think you played the best for?
The team I think I played the best for, I'd probably say the Knicks. Yeah, the Knicks.
He's out.
That's all he wanted to know. Yeah, they gave me a chance to go out there and play free, play with a lot of opportunities. So I'd say that was the best place.
And you can't people like us who will never play Well, at least I won't. The ship done sailed on me. I'm never playing on Madison Square Garden. You can't oversell that, right? I mean, you can hear the ghosts when you're on that court. That is one of the true shrines to our game. Did Madison Square Garden help to lead you to New York as well? Was that the allure of the arena? Did that help?
Yeah, that helped. I mean, the main thing was the management and the staff. And,
Yeah.
Then, like I said, playing in MSG,
Yeah.
playing in those bright lights, the
It's
Mecca
amazing.
basketball, you can't beat that.
Yeah. Hey, bud.
Who is the hardest player to guard, in your opinion, in the NBA?
The hardest player to guard, I'd probably say, for me, I'd probably say Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, yeah, he's tough. He's got a lot of stuff in his game. He's about 7 feet, can handle it like a guard, can shoot the three, can get to it on the block. Yeah, so I'd probably say Anthony Davis.
Thank you. Excellent question. I told you these are the hard ones. Hey, how are you?
I'm Dominic Alley. I am from Massachusetts. I have 2 questions. One is, have you ever met, I'm trying to remember his name. Have you ever met Michael Jordan before?
Yeah, I met Michael Jordan a couple times. In high school, I played in the Jordan Brand Classic game. That was the first time I met him. And then I got drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, so that's another time I met him.
My last question is, what's your favorite color?
Favorite color? I'd probably say black or blue. Yeah.
Thanks, Dominic. Feels like we're going to make headlines today. Favorite color, favorite cereal. Hey, how are you? Good. It's a very solid shirt.
Hi, my name is Adam from Florida, and I was just curious, as a player, what is it like when there's so much crazy off-season news? Are you following on your phone, or are you kind of more professional when there's so many big trades and big free agent signings like this summer?
I mean, when you're on social media, you're going to see all that stuff coming. So, I mean, it can get tough when you're kind of involved in like those trades and things. You gotta move around, and you want to have some stability in the league. You don't want to be moving around too much. So that's the only kind of downside to it. But that's part of the business. You know what you're getting yourself into. And some players in the league, you're going to move around a lot. That's just the nature of the business. So.
Thanks, Adam. All right, come on in, bud. Nicely done. I tell you, that forearm's going to be jacked. Absolutely ripped by the end of the summer. Go right ahead, buddy. What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Nico, and I'm from Long Island. What's your question? And my question is, could you imagine yourself playing on the first hoop ever created? Because, yeah, I can't.
Yeah, it looks pretty tough to play on, but, I mean, yeah, there's not really no backboard. I mean...
Make rebounding really tough.
Yeah, you got to hit rebounding would be tough. You got to hit every shot straight on. Yeah, that looks pretty tough.
So if you missed, you just like go behind the hoop.
You're gonna shoot over every time.
Nico, thank you very much. I appreciate it, bud. And it looks like we're bringing in the closer here. Enter Sandman. Hey, bud. What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is William, and I'm from New Jersey. What was your biggest adjustment going from college to professional?
That's a good question. The biggest adjustment going from college to pro, you just basically, you're kind of getting thrown into the real world. You got to kind of grow faster. You got to do different things, like you're getting involved with money more. You got to know how your money is being used, how it's being moved around and different things like that. And for me personally, you basically kind of turn into a leader of your family because you come into all this money. You got to take care of your family. You got people asking you for help. There's just a lot that comes with it. And just kind of learning different things from college to my first year in the pros. I learned a lot of things about taking care of my body, what foods to eat, and just there's a lot I learned in that 1 year, that transition.
Excellent question. Thanks, bud. Ladies and gentlemen, one final round of applause for Noah Vonleh. Now, just like I promised, the fun continues. So, while Noah goes over to the table on my right, your left, I'm asking that you head to the line behind the far end.